know, I think everybody's a little bit insane. We all have our glitches, you know. But when you have a person that there's right away, if they don't fit in with society, and that's not what I'm talking about. You know, I'm not talking about if a person is crazy, or what we deem as being a person that's crazy. I mean, having compassion on that person doesn't mean getting them to adapt to what society is, unless they want to adapt in society. I have a friend, a person that I've been talking to, that wants to go with this girl, but because he's got these these ways of thinking, you know, his ADD and whatnot, he can't control his jealousies. He can't control his thoughts, and it's destroying what he's trying to have with this girl. So, you know, it's really kind of heavy on me, because like I get these phone calls every day from him, and these messages that are just like really, really long, and I have a lot of compassion on him and what he's going through, and that's why people say, well, how do you, because I feel for him. But, you know, it's up to him to want to change, you know, like if you want to seek out and you want to fit within the society, in other words, if you want this relationship, well, then maybe you have to conform a little bit. But he seems to be, from what he's telling me, that as much as he wants this relationship, he doesn't want to conform to what everybody says that he should be. You know? And that's a decision that, you know, at least he's rational enough to make that decision. You know?
So that just reminded me of a question or a thought I had about meditation in dealing with problems. And so your friend is not able to work out this relationship because all these things are running through his mind, and some
he suspects things, he sees things that don't really exist. He just can't shut his brain off.
And I think this is something I don't know. I'd like to know your opinion on it. The way I think about meditation is like you stop trying to control things. You don't push everything out. You let everything go through. That's how I feel like my experience with
a very high form of meditation, because what that deals with, it deals with just life in general. Mm-hmm. That's true meditation. That's leaving your comfort zones. That's a very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, that's also what brings us back to what we were talking about. You know, evolving. And that's a really tough thing that I just don't. It's tough in a lot of ways, because you really have to confront your universe. You really have to have what it takes to confront that. And to be able to deal with it. You know, my friend, if he would try different meditations, if I was able, like he's just a person I have an acquaintance with,
yeah.
But if he was going to have teachings, and I could teach him how to meditate, constructed within his framework, within where he's at, then he may be able to calm himself down enough without medications, without all of those things, because he still wants to be who he is, because he feels by taking anything is taking what he is away. And he feels that he wants to know, he doesn't want something, a blocker, to stop what he's trying to do, or who he is. But through meditations, he can deal with it better. And what's funny is because he'd say to this woman, well, can you accept me the way that I am? And she's, of course, said, I want to, but I can't. You know, because you would just drive me crazy. You know? And I just can't deal with that coming from other relationships that were not that great. So real meditation could be also, there's like we say, twofold meditation. One fold of it would be different key elements that you have to meditate within your life, or different home bases that you come back to keep yourself calm, to realize that I shouldn't say this. No matter how much my impulse is to say this, I shouldn't say this. You know? And the other meditation would be, you know, confronting those demons within you. You know, not running away from them. And then those demons actually become your teachers. They're only demons, you know, because you don't understand them. Once you understand them, that changes, which is a metaphor I go through, you know, constantly and repeat. And this has got to have a lot of repeat in it, because it all tethers and all comes back. It all builds on something. That first step.
You give an example of in your life how you've confronted a demon and had it teach you?
There's a lot of demons.
Just one.
You know?
Just as a concrete example.
A concrete example of confronting a demon within you. Well, I would think that started with what I call know your dragon. And I don't know, examples I guess will come through that. But the demon basically is we have this dragon. I think we talked about this. Didn't we talk about this in one of the videos? No? We all have our dragon inside of us, and that could be the example of what we call a demon. But all of us, everybody, to anyone listening to this and to everybody here. So, you know, you have this dragon inside you, whatever that may be, whatever you think it may be. Maybe your dragon is dealing with sexual desire. Maybe your dragon is dealing with gambling. Maybe your dragon is dealing with, you know, drugs or anything. It could be anything. Or maybe your dragon is in the way of what you feel is true spiritual enlightenment. So all of us, we try to lock our dragon up. First, we try to slay the dragon.
Addiction, kind of.
Could be, you know. You try to slay your dragon. But then when you think you have it slayed, what happens? It comes back. Right? You try to lock up your dragon. You try to chain it down. You try to do all these things, but it comes back. That's your demon. But also, that's your nature. That's who you are. So really, it's not about destroying your demons. It's about understanding them. So it's not going to go away. Because as soon as you think it goes away, as soon as you think you resolved it, especially on a spiritual journey, that's when the dragon comes up out of nowhere, pins you under its claw, and smiles at you, and walks away. You didn't do anything to it. You just come up with different examples. But your dragon is also your drive to want to try and better yourself, to want to try and understand. And what we don't understand is that we have to amalgam ourselves to our dragon. We have to understand what that dragon is saying. We have to ride with the dragon. But we spend so much time trying to protect ourselves from it that we never really come into meditation with it. We don't ride it, we're always trying to control it. And what that means is you have a person who's a pedophile, you have a person who's an alcoholic, you have a person who's this and that and the other thing, then it's a matter of first accepting where you are, and then from there dealing with it on your own level. But we right away say that, well, you know, you're doing this thing, you're doing that thing, and that person himself feels it's wrong, and they say, but I can't control it. It's not about controlling, it's about understanding it. And once you understand it, in that sense, you start to not control it, you just understand where you stand. And therefore, you know, you don't act on your impulses to do the things that you do. It's like a person who comes from a family of abuse. They also grow up to be abusers themselves. The very thing that they hate and what happened to them, they inflict upon something else. The very thing that you hate, you become. So if you hate your dragon, you become your dragon. You know, you become that of which you hate. And a lot of instances. So it's truly about understanding your dragon, not controlling it. You can't control it, but you can understand it. And therefore, you don't give in to that emotional content that just impulsively makes you do the things or makes you weak and like, I can't control myself, I have to do these terrible things. No, it's that you just don't understand. You know? And depending on where you want to go as an individual. Some people do need to take medication, some people do need to do that. But that's that fine line of where they're going to fit in with society. You know? Do they have anything to teach? Or are we the ones that are directing where they have to be? And that, again, could come into compassion and understanding.